Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
And good evening, everyone. Live, I'm Rich Mancuso, my YouTube channel. This is Keep It in the Ring. Welcome in. Every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm here to do the boxing, the wrestling, some MMA, and much more. And coming up in this hour, we have a lot to talk about. First of all, social media handle, Ring786 is X, and Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. You can reach me. Also on Instagram. Content can be read on LatinoSports.com. We're also live on String Punk Entertainment. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel here on YouTube, Rich Mancuso, and at String Punk Entertainment, and as well as like the Keep It in the Ring page. Some of the fights coming up, scrolled at the bottom of your screen. Tommy D will join me in a moment. We have a lot to offer. The Rebel Rant will come up later with pro wrestling, lots of that. But we'll begin in a moment because Boots Ennis is now the elite among fighters, and you have to look at him as an elite. We'll talk about that as he unifies most of the welterweight division at 147 at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. I'm an analysis of that. The boxing updates, a lot of that. Times Square coming up. Big fights in the crossroads of the world coming up. WrestleMania. We got a lot. We're going to run down the card. Tommy D and the Rebel Rant, Robbie Rebel. We're going to go over the WrestleMania card and give our predictions and outlook for WrestleMania weekend. It's here. Nostalgia much more ahead. Next hour, this is Keep It in the Ring with Rich Mancuso. And like, comment, and subscribe. Most of all, comment. We'll get back to as many as you as we can tonight in the next hour or so. All right, let's get to it right away. A lot to talk about. Jerome Boots Ennis. He has arrived. He's one of the elite fighters in boxing. There's no doubt about it. Among the elite also with Philadelphia boxing history and the champions of the past. You're talking about Ryan Garcia, Bernard Hopkins, Smoking Joe Frazier, Meldrick Taylor, Bernie Briscoe. It goes on and on, the history of boxing in Philadelphia, and Gerard Boots Ennis is now one of them. He's arrived for sure. And if you have any doubts about him, you don't know the sport. At Atlantic City Boardwalk Hall, history made Saturday night on the Zone. Ennis said after stopping Emmanuel Stenonis in the 6th round, the biggest part of this was me having fun being myself. He had the southpaw stance going. He hit Stenonis with uppercuts. Everything worked out for him, speed, jabbing, and so forth. And there he is, the new unified champion at 147, at least most of the belts. He doesn't have them all. Talk about that in a moment. But he had the dominant jabs. I saw it at ringside, and I could tell you, well deserving to be the champion here. The jabs, the lefts to the body. 1-2 fighters in the division went at it. You couldn't ask for better on Saturday night down in Atlantic City at Boardwalk Hall. He is, and it's the WBA and IBF champion. He is building a legacy. Eddie Hearn, promoter of Matchroom, said, "We'll be elite. Boots Ennis will be an elite fighter, not only 147, that he's unified most of those belts, but at 154, even at 160, there's time for this young man. He's only 26 years of age. So there's much time for Boots Ennis to do more in the sport. A lot of time, maybe even 10 more years of him. Punch stats weren't perfect. We'll take a look at that courtesy of CompuBox. But Ennis was landing 19% of his total punches to Stenonis' 31%. And he outlanded Stenonis 23-9 in power punches to the body. The 6th round, landing the jab, angles to the body, the flurry of body punches. Stenonis took a knee. The corner said it was enough. As he said, Ennis, I was in a groove. Now, Eddie Hearn is looking at the next possible opponent for there he is. There's a gracious Stenonis and Boots Ennis exchanging belts in the locker room when it was all over. Eddie Hearn said he's looking at the next fight for Boots Ennis, maybe back in Philadelphia again, where he had 2 homecoming wins, or maybe going back to Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. But I get the feeling after listening to Hearn and the whole contingent of people at the fight Saturday night that the next fight for Boots Ennis, again, defending titles in his hometown of Philadelphia. But the options have been talking. Hearn has said there are options. He's been talking with Bob Reimer, Hall of Fame promoter Bob Reimer, and Top Rank. Maybe Ennis's next opponent is this guy. WBO champ Brian Norman, or Mario Barrios, who's the WBC champ. So we could get this all unified. At least we're getting there in the division that once was unified a few years ago with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford. And that didn't last very long. But I think Boots Ennis is going to continue to build this legacy and get all the titles. That's what he wants to do at 147. They said this was for unification, of two of the major sanctioning group organizations, plus the Ring Magazine title he has as well. But after the fight, here's some of the comments that Boots said about all of this, and let's roll that, Tom.
And I knew he was going to go, the way from like the second round, for certain things he was doing, I'm like, I've been really wanted to pick it up. My pop was like, my pop, my dad, and my team, like, not yet. Just take your time, chill, have fun, stick to the game plan, let it come.
There he is with Eddie Hearn. He's talking about his performance, which was an A+ in my book. I didn't think this fight would go that short. I thought it'd go the distance. Tommy D, let me bring you in, my friend and great colleague who helps keeping it together with me each and every week here on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso and Drink Punk Entertainment. Tommy, basically, you saw Boots. You saw the fight. You heard what he had to say. What are your thoughts? You thought that Boots would win this fight. Am I right?
Yes, and Boots made me look sort of a genius as well. I was one of the, maybe some of the few people, some of the few people that actually picked Boots to win by stoppage. I picked him to stop Stanionis in the ninth round. I thought it'd be a late round stoppage. It kind of went similar to what I thought would happen. I thought that the corner would stop the fight, and that's kind of what happened. And then as they were telling the story and the commentating, watching the fight, they were talking about Stanionis. He's got a child on the way. His wife is ready to give birth. So I kind of figured that, if he was going to take a beating, that they were going to push him to kind of quit and give up, and that's basically what happened. Boots kind of broke him down.
Are you more impressed with Boots Ennis now than you were ever before, as I am?
I am. I mean, I think he fought he had a good matchup against Karen, the Ukrainian, in his last fight. That guy was kind of polished. He's Olympian as well, So I think Boots is very good. I think he's the best in the division. But I got to say this, the welterweight division is not like what it used to be.
No.
So we have to see big name opponents. You mentioned a couple of guys, and I would love to see him in there. And he'd definitely be the favorite over both those guys you mentioned.
Brian Norman, that Eddie Hearn did say that he's already opened discussions with Bob Arum at Top Rank to put Boots in there with Brian Norman. This was a great move by Boots going to Matchroom. He got the fights what he wanted. And let's face it, Eddie Hearn knows talent. He's got a lot of top fighters in the industry right now, including numerous champions. And he was very high on signing Boots, and he did. And, of course, the two homecoming fights in Philadelphia, just a prelude to what happened Saturday night. Norman would be a formidable opponent. The question is, does Boots Ennis want to go to 154? And I think he will. That's his plan. He wants to unify completely here at 147, then go to 154, which is a tougher division. But Boots can handle that. He knows how to handle weight. And, he came in over 147 in the ring Saturday night. He was strong. He was quick. And I'll tell you, you could hear those punches from sitting where I was with the guys at ringside, Tom. He is tough. He is strong. And that footwork, which is impeccable, which I always love in a fighter.
Yeah. No, I thought he was great. And it went pretty much the way I thought it was. I thought, he made the fight. His I'm trying to find the word. I'm a little lost, but he made Stanionis fight his fight. Stanionis has a good jab. He didn't really use it. When he used it, he kind of landed a couple of jabs. Stanionis has that stiff jab. But I always thought that Stanionis' power, that people said he had good power, was a little bit over. So he
Yeah, I
caught.
was surprised.
Yeah,
I was surprised at that. Also, he had trouble handling the southpaw stance
yeah.
of
He
Ennis.
definitely did. Yeah.
He did have a problem with that, and that came out after the fight as well. Um, do you think Boots Ennis right now, as claimed, and I agree to it, is one of the elite fighters right now in boxing?
Yeah,
And should
absolutely.
be, he's definitely in a pound for pound discussion, no doubt about it. Maybe a top 5 right now.
I don't want to go as far as top 5 because he's just, he was out for some time and now he's just had what I think this is his third fight within the year or something like that. So he's obviously more active now than he was before. But I definitely believe he's a top pound for pound fighter. He's definitely in the top 10. I would like him to see him fight Brian Norman or even a Barrios, and even in a division like that. Even if he goes up and takes a big money fight against Virgil. Like, I mean, I think that's great. If he was to beat him, you definitely got to be considered as a top pound for pound guy in the top 5 at the very least.
Regardless, Tom, he's developing a legacy in boxing.
Hmm.
He's definitely established that. He's got most of the titles now, 147, and he's got much more to come at the young age he is. He's well liked.
Hmm.
You could market him. There's no doubt about it. Very low key young man, and he goes about and does his business. And as he said, I did my thing and I was having fun. And
Yeah.
and he's got a great following. They came up from Philadelphia and packed Boardwalk Hall, and all you heard was boots, boots, boots. And by the way, Tom, I'm getting too old for this, and I'll tell you why. The more I cover a fight at ringside, I have to cover my ears, and I got to put the glasses on better because I can't take the constant noise of the DJ. I don't do many matchroom boxing cards, and I'll tell you, that was as loud as could get in Boardwalk Hall. I'm almost went deaf. I'm deaf as it is. I went deafer.
But I think it's a good thing because, him being with Eddie Hearn, I think is a great thing. I think Eddie Hearn knows how to market his guys. And look, bringing fighting, bringing boxing back to Atlantic City is always a good thing because that was at one point maybe the boxing capital of the world at some point.
They revived it
Yeah,
Saturday night. They
yeah,
definitely did. I knew they'd be close to sellout or sold out. I didn't get the official count, but there's a lot of history there. And I covered
yeah.
a lot of major fights down there at the boardwalk, including 2 of the Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward wars. In their trilogy, including I saw Kelly Palvic dethrone Sergio Martinez with a click left down there years ago. At one time, that was a fight capital,
Yeah.
Boardwalk Hall, along with Las Vegas. No more, but it was
Andre
good to
Ward
see
against
boxing back. Yeah, Andre Ward as well.
Carl Froch, I think
And
was
Bernard Hopkins fought there many
yeah,
times. So
yeah.
it was championship town for fights at one time. The problem down there is you don't have the allure of Las Vegas and even now Saudi Arabia, where a
Mhm.
lot of the action is. But for Boots Ennis, that's his hometown, Philadelphia. But Eddie Hearn said this. He doesn't like to be repetitive in keeping one of his fighters in the same place more than once or twice. So you got to wonder if his next fight's going to be back in Atlantic City or back in Philadelphia. I got the feeling he's going to have another homecoming as a champion in Philadelphia real soon.
And I think that's a great thing. I mean, because they're only like 40 minutes, 45 minutes apart, right? So it's not a big distance between them. So either way, you're going to get the Philadelphia fans there. So, and I just think it's great that they're back in Atlantic City. I think if they can build that up, put on more good shows there, I think that's just great for boxing. And of course I'm going to be biased. We're in the East Coast. It's easy for us to get to it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the time I was there this weekend, and best part of it was coming home, and I met a young man and found out that his name is Mancuso as well. And
Really?
we have maybe some distant relatives in the old country in Italy. Whatever, that's another story. Always the adventures of traveling in the business wherever you go. All
Uh,
right, let's move on to Boots Ennis and look at the Chief Support co-main. And by the way, it was great seeing people I haven't seen in a while at ringside, including a lot of your buddies, YouTubers, and I got to get used to the newbies and the young age in this industry. But all great guys, and I appreciate them.
Johnny Boy was there. He was.
Oh
He was
yeah,
there.
yeah, we had a good time.
He had
Except Johnny Boy did not invite me to Carmine's, and I got upset about that. That's the great restaurant there on the boardwalk.
Oh,
Him and his little gang there with Fight Hype.
I'll get at him. Don't worry. Yeah.
I could have skipped the meal anyway. Would have been better. Anyway, the co-main was Raymond Ford. Now 17-1-1, 8 knockouts. The former featherweight champ, now at 130. He's moving to junior lightweight as he has. He was dominant. 10-round unanimous decision over Thomas Matisse, 22-5-1, 17 knockouts. The punch stats courtesy of CompuBox show it. Ford landed 128 of 510 total punches to 24 of 126 of Matisse. The 24 punches landed ranks tied for second fewest in a 10-round fight, and 163-26 thrown, the least of all time. That's incredible what Raymond Ford did, Thomas. What did you think of his performance?
I thought it was a great performance. I think I don't know. Matisse, he didn't really fight with any urgency, which I was very upset about because I think Matisse is better than what he's shown. Maybe just what Ford brought to the table, kind of discouraged him from doing that and taking any chances. But I thought Ford looked phenomenal. He's a top guy. He's always looking for the top fights. He's always calling out fighters as well. He's on Twitter. He's on social media talking about fighters, talking, to fighters and stuff. And I think it's great for the sport as well. He's now at 130. There's some good champions there,
Yeah, we'll talk about that because he's called right away. He called out Eduardo Nunez, who fights Nunez for the vacant IBF junior lightweight title versus Rikishi May 28th in Japan. Immediately after his win, he called him out. Mm-hmm. And I think that'd be a good fight for Ford and get a championship again. We've got to wait the results of May 28th in Japan. I always like Raymond Ford. I like the way he handles himself as well inside the ring and outside the ring. Yeah. Exciting young fighter now at junior lightweight.
No, he's a great fighter. He does rub some people the wrong way with the way he speaks, but I think when you're a champion, and I think when you've been in the sport, and I feel like you can talk freely and you could talk your ish, as much as you want. Especially he's a defender. He's won a title. He lost a close decision to Nick Ball, and now he's moved up and he's searching for greatness again. So kudos to Raymond Ford. I think he's a great fighter, and I think he's also great for boxing.
I think we'll hear more about him soon. Eddie Hearn said also that he has plans for Raymond Ford. Maybe that's going to be it. Maybe next he gets Nunez and he gets another title around his waist. All right, Tom, this is something that really threw me off, and I put it on all my social media. This was crazy. Because as I was going to the post-fight press conference, and I couldn't find it, it's in backstage here at Boardwalk Hall. This is a huge, amassed building. And they have this backstage press conference all the way, and they're breaking things down. As I'm walking towards there, I run into this guy. Now, I thought he was a fighter at first. Well-built, blonde hair, good-looking guy. Like a fighter. He looked like a fighter. But then he traps me. Let's play this. I had it all over my social media, and it got a lot of hits. And now I'll tell you why, if everybody knows by now. Play it, Tom.
Okay.
Who do you want to fight next?
I want to fight you.
No.
I'm kidding.
I had my days.
You used to be a boxer. Let me see your jab.
No. There is no more jab. It's street fighting if I have to do it.
Okay. So basically, I'm going for, I don't know, bro. It's either between Rolly or Ryan. I got to pick between them. So whoever wins that fight, I'll probably run it against them.
Yeah, now
because we do it at the belt. I got both undisputed belts. I'm trying to get my third. I'm 34-0, so I'm just hoping for the best. 27 knockouts.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Do you plan to be in New York for their fights?
No, so I'm gonna headline down in Dubai.
Okay.
So we did our next fight's in Times Square.
Right.
And after that, we're gonna run in Dubai.
Right. But that's who you would be eyeing.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta go for greatness.
But all right, real quick for your video, can you tell them what you like most about my boxing today?
I like your whole style. Like I told you, I like your defense. I like your jab. I like I like your footwork, and I always looked at footwork being good with a fighter.
Yeah, thank you.
You know,
The weaves too.
the weaves is something of it, but
Yeah.
sometimes you got to avoid that.
You're a walking clip. I appreciate you,
Well,
brother.
I'm a walking clip because I've been around the sport a long time. My mentor was Burt Randolph Sugar, the great boxing historian.
Thank you.
So I've been around this a long time. But yeah, you know what? I could laugh about it now, and everyone can, because I'm thinking this as a fighter. Okay, all my years around the sport or in this industry, I'm thinking this is a fighter, and then it didn't dawn on me. This is not. It dawned on me later. This is not a fighter? I go backstage. I see a lot of your friends, a lot of your colleagues, a lot of young guys, and I go. First thing I go is, and I went to Johnny Boy right away. And I go, "Do you know who this is?" He goes, "Yeah, you're going to go viral tomorrow." It's Neon. That's what they call him. I don't know.
Yeah.
These guys, these YouTubers, and I'm not into that. I mean, I'm not into that. I watch YouTube a lot, but not for a guy like Neon, who's a young guy, comedian, making an awful lot of money, has like 5 million subscribers, and here I am, Rich Mancuso, the jerk, thinking he's a fighter, and I'm going along with this whole time. He probably thought that I knew who he was, and I was playing his game.
He was doing, and he played it. He played it on his social media platform as well.
I know he did. It got tremendous amount of hits.
Yeah.
Now,
see, I don't know. I
know who he is.
I didn't know who he was either. I didn't know who that guy. If I was there, I would have been like, I wouldn't have fell for it though, because I would have been like, you didn't fight. Like he said that he fought that night. I was like, you ain't no fighter. You could tell. Like I'm like, Rich. That's a bad look, Rich. I'm sorry.
It was, but the thing that was funny about it is I went along with it, and he thought I knew who he was. He thought I knew who he was. I had no idea. I thought he was a fighter. In fact, I was going to ask him some pretty, what division are you in? Well, you know what I mean? It's because at boxing events, big boxing events, you never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah,
you never know who you're going to meet. And over the years of my career, any big sporting event, you never know who you're going to meet. But in boxing, you'll find the unusual. That was the unusual. And that's another chapter in my book now. Neon. Who the hell was Neon? They ain't Neon Light, Neon.
So so when you look at, if anybody watches the clip and goes to his social, I think he's on TikTok, if I'm not mistaken, he's all over. He put a bet in and he won the bet, and then you heard him say he won, and you said congratulations. So he went with it, and that's where he got you at.
I know he got me right.
Yeah.
Well, and in the end, I'm laughing about it, and there's everyone else. And who's this commenting?
Teach.
A guy who interviewed Shakur, he talks nonstop like an idiot. Before that, I had never heard of him. Then he pops up with boots. Yeah, because he goes to all these major events and he gets credentials. He gets backstage access. We don't even get that. Eddie Hearn treated him like he was a king.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Neon. It was fun. Let's move on to more serious stuff, Tom. Okay.
The funny part, D3 says the funny part was like how you like his style and footwork.
I know that's the thing, because I was talking to him like a boxing journalist would, thinking he's a fighter.
Yeah.
I know I didn't see him in the ring in Atlantic City at Boardwalk Hall Saturday night, but I'm talking to him like a fighter, and he went with it. All fun and all. That
was a good clip. But hey, you might have went viral. He put you on his channel.
I did go viral. I did. I heard I went viral. I don't know. I got picked up on it. I don't know. Did it do anything for me? No, but it did a lot for him. Well, anyway, more serious business, Thomas. Let's move on. 92nd Times Square. It's fastly approaching. Apparently, they've ironed out the logistics, including this. Of course, you got the three big fights: Garcia Romero and Henny Ramirez, and of course, Teofimo and Barboza Jr. for his WBO 140 title. But here it is. It's official now. An invite only. Only about 350 fans are able to get access to see the fight. How they're going to do it otherwise with all the other people that'll be intrigued about this event in Times Square, the crosswalks of the world, is beyond me. I keep getting asked questions. How can I go? Can I see it? I imagine they're going to do this. They're going to have screens all over Times Square like they do on New Year's Eve. And anybody who wants to go just to take it, get a piece of it to see it, will get that. But they're not going to be allowed anywhere near the fight area, I am told. It's an invite only, and with media, of course.
Yeah. So media is invited. They're gonna have some, you can apply for the credentials for which I have, and I'm sure you have as well. I'm guessing they're gonna close off like blocks off. They're gonna have police at each block, not let like the
Well, I
night.
talked to an
Yeah.
NYPD higher up, New York Police Department, who told me, yeah, they've already got the contingency plans in place. There will be heavy security in Times Square, no doubt. It's an outdoor event like this, and they're going to be very strict about who gets access to go among the 350 fans. You must have ticket entry. So if you're thinking in the New York area coming from somewhere else, don't even think about it. You're going to have to go outside and watch it in the distance somewhere. But anyway, speaking of May 2nd, which is only about 2 weeks away, the Turk guy posted this with Teofimo Lopez. Interesting. Teofimo's been making his rounds. He's in the gym. He's sparring. He's getting ready. Says he's ready. All hyped up about it. But the Turk guy who's now involved with Teofimo Lopez, stop hanging around. Get up. You have a fight in 2 weeks. Well, that's a little more comedy there going into this big event. But Teofimo's ready. He's ready, but he's going to have the fight of his life with Barboza Jr. coming up in 2 weeks, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like T.O. I don't like the antics that he does. I don't like the things that he say, and these so-called jokes that he does, and and actually he's done it. He pulled it with me in person last year in September. Kind of the tough talk is like nothing can happen to this guy. So I don't like that about him. But in the ring, I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a great boxer. I think he's very athletic, and I would favor him to beat Barboza. Am I rooting for him? No, because I don't. He's not a likable guy. I
No.
know you have a good relationship with his dad, and his dad was cool that night too. I'll tell you that much. His dad was very respectful, very very cool that night. But I'm rooting for Barboza in this fight. But I think Tio is going to win this fight.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be an event of an event, featuring the top fighters in the 140-pound division of junior welterweight, and a lot of implications as well. And Ryan Garcia is that big headline here, returning from his suspension after a year, and we'll see what he's got. And according to Ryan Garcia, he's ready, and he's looking forward to it. And most of all, the mentality of Ryan Garcia is back, and that's what's so important for this young man.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, it's a great card. Devin Haney's on the card. Both guys, Haney and Garcia, if they was to win, they're supposed to meet up later on in the year, fighting at 144. So this is the welterweight division now. So now they're going to be, bigger and, fill up more, not as weight drained. So I'm very intrigued. I'm gonna, I don't want to make predictions now. I'm gonna wait till it comes. I got a couple of good predictions that people may not like. Wow, you predicted that. So stay
And an
tuned for
important
that.
fight for Devin Haney as well.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about it next week as we get closer and closer to May 2nd in Times Square. And Shakur Stevenson is making noise. He did that on the boardwalk. He was very visible in Atlantic City Saturday. The WBC lightweight champion saying he's all for getting in the ring with the WBA champ, Gervonta Davis. He says he wants that fight. Of course, Davis and Lamont Roach might have a rematch as soon as June from their fight of a few months ago. That was very controversial, as we know, and Gervonta still has the titles. But Shakur is making it known. He wants Gervonta Davis. He made everyone know that Saturday night.
Really? I didn't know that. So Shakur wants to wait. Oh no. So Devontae Davis. I'm thinking Keyshawn Davis in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's the fight to make. I mean, after Tank and Roach get the rematch going, that's the fight to make. Those are the two top guys at 135. My guy, the wild card, is Keyshawn Davis, though. That's what I'm.
And
I'm
we're going to
thinking.
talk about him in a moment.
Yeah.
There is also talk in the heavyweight division, but I don't agree with this. Another former champ, 53-year-old Shannon Briggs, who was always controversial, says he's returning on July 1st. He the record holder of most first round knockouts in boxing history. Last fought in 2016. He said this is a movement. What the hell does he mean by that?
I am not sure. I mean, I like Shannon Brinks. He's very friendly. He goes to almost all the fights here in the East Coast. I think he lives in Jersey, so he goes to the fights in Newark as well at the Prudential Center. He's nice. He's part of my intro in my YouTube channel. Like he gave me a shout out. 53 years old. He's always working out in shape. Remember, he was trying to start the gym in Brooklyn. I don't know what's happening with that. He was
I
going.
just don't think this is good for boxing. Even Oliver
Yeah,
McCall, at almost 60 years of age, has already had 2 fights in Tennessee
yeah, the
on
Rough
this
and Rowdy.
so-called comeback. It feels he still has it, and to me, it's an embarrassment. But
Yeah.
the reality, though, the heavyweight champ is Alexander Usyk, and Daniel Dubois, the IBF champ. There's talk about an undisputed rematch between the two, July 12th at Wembley in the UK. That's more like it.
Yeah, that's the fight to make at heavyweight. I love it. And there's there's a good story there. Because yes, Usyk did win the fight, but there was some controversy in it where a low blow that didn't look like a low blow at all. And then the referee giving Usyk all that time and encouraging him to take the 5 minutes. So there's some controversy in that, and something to build on. And Dubois, he's hot right now. He looks unbeatable in his last few fights. So maybe
Yeah,
the
but
outcome is
you
a little different. It'll be a different Dubois in
You
that
want to
fight.
see active heavyweights. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see
Absolutely.
these old timers come back and make an embarrassment of themselves. It's not good for the sport. That's why the sport could never get any respect with something like that. Now, you're talking about Keyshawn Davis. He defends his title. It was announced today for official. Edwin De Los Santos, a knockout artist with power. Another homecoming for the champion. Saturday, June 7th at the Scope Arena in Norfolk. And this is June 7th, top rank ESPN. So Keyshawn Davis coming back home again to defend his title, Tom.
I think that's great, and I think that's a good fight. I mean, De Los Santos has been kind of inactive, but hey, what if Keyshawn can stop De Los Santos? Something
Mm,
that Shakur couldn't do, and Shakur got criticized when Shakur fought De Los Santos. So what if Keyshawn beats De Los Santos in a way that was far superior than what Shakur did? They'll have people talking, and therefore energizing and amping up that division, with talks, because this is something that was said by these two guys. They're really good friends. They'll never fight each other. But what if
right.
that was to happen? And then people like, hey, maybe they should fight, see who is the best guy at
Now, that's a
135.
big fight for
Yeah.
Davis and another homecoming.
Yeah.
Look, De Los Santos can punch. He's got the stats to show. He's got the KO power. Fights this weekend, Thomas. Briefly on the zone. There is boxing this weekend in the UK. Dalton Smith against Matthias German, junior welterweights, and we get to see Gabriela Fundora again, the champion, versus Madeline Medillo for Fundora's undisputed flyweight title. Of course, she, the sister of Sebastian Fundora, the champion at 154, and of course, the first brother-sister combination to hold distinctive titles together. And next weekend, we all look forward to the Brawl in the UK on the zone. Middleweights, Chris Eubank Jr. and Connor Bennett. It's nearing in for 12 rounds. Going to be a brawl. It's going to be a grudge match. The father-son revival again, and we'll talk more about that next week. But in the meantime, just last week, you were in New York City, Theater Madison Square Garden, and he announced Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, the trilogy, going to be in July, MVP Promotions, an all-female card. Tom, you got some video of Serrano, Taylor, and some of the undercard fighters. Go into that a little bit, and let's play it.
Okay, 1 second. Let me. So basically, last week was a press conference. This last Wednesday, I was there. They're amping up July 11. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, number 3. We know the first 2 fights were very controversial. A lot of people thought, including myself, thought Amanda Serrano won those fights, but Katie Taylor was claimed victorious both times. So this third fight is supposedly just going to conclude it all, and this is it. And it was a good press conference, and some surprising signings by MVP and Jake Paul with the female boxing, that they're really putting a lot into female boxing. Alicia Baumgartner is the co-main event. to my surprise, I did not notice until I was there because I was on social media for the day. Sharita Metcalf, who I've been covering a lot on my channel and who I like, and I was at her last fight this past October where she won her title. So she'll be on the card, and yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome. I
Yeah,
got a couple videos to yeah.
let's play that, Tom. It's an all-female card as well, which is historic and makes it even more interesting. Roll it.
Promote at that time?
Yeah, not at that time. No.
Not at that time.
No, yeah.
This man next to you, what he's done with boxing for women right now, it's amazing. Now, you fighting this third fight. You just said on stage there's a possibility that you might bring someone new into your camp, training-wise, something like that. Who would that be? What's the plans?
Yeah, no, we're bringing in members who is they're going to be this strength and conditioning coach. We're bringing him in. We're bringing a nutritionist in who's coming to stay with us. I'm bringing Jose Guzman, which is an old friend of ours, an old boxer too from the Bronx, and he's going to come and tighten up those loose. And I'm remaining the same. Jordan is in my life. He's the main coach, but it's just a new thing. I'm excited. It's the first time in a very long time that I've been excited to go into a camp. We have 3 long months, and I'm going to go out there, and I'm just going to give it my all. And I can't wait for you guys to see what I'm doing.
What's the pluses and minuses of Katie Taylor?
The plus, I mean, Katie Taylor, she gives me that motivation.
So that's just a little piece of Amanda Serrano just speaking about like she's brought in new people on her team to help with strength and conditioning coach. She brought in an old
She's been a
trainer friend
credit.
of her, Jose
She's a
Guzman.
credit to the sport and the female division. She propelled female boxing to where it is now. What else you got?
So I got a little clip of Alicia Baumgartner. I'll just
All right, let's hear that. Let's hear that.
Alicia, your opponent, what do you know about your opponent?
I know that she's coming to fight, and I know that she's more than willing to step in the ring with me, which I love. I love a challenge, and I'm ready to get it on July 11th.
Alicia, you see what Tati and Amanda doing for the female boxing trilogy? For you, what's the biggest fight that you can make in the future? Now you signed with the MVP Partnership.
Signing with the MVP, I know that they support the women, they support the sport, so I wouldn't expect anything less to make the biggest fights possible. And again, July 11th, you'll see the first one and many more to come.
What do you think of Alicia? Real brief.
I like her. I think she's phenomenal. She has a huge fan base, because not only she's a fighter, she's a very good looking female as well. And a lot of the let's face it, a lot of the men and the young guys, they like Alicia, and but she can fight, undisputed. She had the big fight with Michaela Mayer, which is some people say was a little controversial, could have went either way, but nevertheless, she got the win, and she's beat everybody she's fought. She avenged her loss. The only loss she got, she avenged it after that in dominating fashion and unanimous decision. So, I like her. I think this was a great addition to the team, and maybe the future of MVP. Maybe after this, Amanda and Katie both go into the sunset.
What did Jake Paul have to say about all this? Because I wasn't there.
Jake Paul was just happy. He said, we're just, doing great for women's boxing. He wants to do something different, and and just promote the women's boxing. And then he also mentioned that he's going to make an announcement soon about his.
He hasn't done it yet.
Fight. Yeah, and then he said he didn't want to announce it then because
because he can't get anyone that'll make him a legitimate fighter. Finally, exactly. That's why. Yeah. By the way, we're looking ahead, but real brief. Who do you like in the trilogy, Taylor or Serrano?
I'm gonna go with Amanda Serrano again. I thought she won the first 2 fights, and I think she'll win this one, and hopefully she could stop her this time. She's hurt it in both fights and almost got her out of there. So.
We'll talk about that more in the weeks to come. Big card at the Garden, all females. Taylor Serrano 3, the trilogy. Look forward to it. Thank you all for commenting this first half hour or so. Appreciate that, Johnny Boy Boxing. You're the best. Next time, though, you got to take me to Carmine's with you. You did wrong, my friend. One
Johnny
MMA
Boy.
note. One MMA note before we take it to break and come back with a huge last half hour of pro wrestling with WrestleMania. UFC 314 over the weekend. Volkanovski defeated Diego Lopez, unanimous decision. John Silva defeated Bryce Mitchell by submission. And Patty Pimmel over Michael Chandler, the TKO with the striking round 3 in the lightweights. Setback for Chandler. That is a major setback for Chandler at UFC 314. And we'll do more MMA because I know I got some MMA followers on the program as well. All right, Tom, let's take this first brief time out, real brief. Come back. We got the pro wrestling. I'm Rich Mancuso. This is Keep It in the Ring live on my YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also at String Punk Entertainment, and like the Facebook page, Keep It in the Ring. Back in a moment. Stay with us. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's Tom. Pro Wrestling next.
Petwell Clinic was built with busy pet parents. Petwell Clinic was built with
All right, we're not going to do the intro. We're just going to go right to me. That's okay. Everyone knows it's Keep It in the Ring with Rich Mancuso and Thomas now with me every week. And Keep It in the Ring, of course, my YouTube channel live every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern for you tuning in for the first time. Like, comment, and subscribe my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, also on String Punk Entertainment, and like the Keep It in the Ring page. Of course, that boxing calendar scrolled at the bottom of the screen as well. Content that you can read some of my content on latinosports.com, boxing, some other stuff, and other websites where Rich Mancuso can be found. And now let's get to the pro wrestling, because we did a lot of boxing, and of course, this weekend we're talking WrestleMania. Going to get to that. Is Robbie Rebel, the Rebel Rant, is he there with us already, Tom?
Yes, he's backstage ready to roll.
Bring him in. Bring him in. Before I bring him in and talk with you and Rebel about WrestleMania, let me get some AEW stuff, because Forbidden Door, he announced Tony Khan August 24th, first time at the O2 Arena in London. You know, this weekend, because WrestleMania Collision is on tonight. They didn't want to conflict. Good move, because AEW needs all the rating push they can get. And Scotland will be debuted for AEW Dynamite and Collision on August 20th. And there's also talk that Paige Sierra is going to move to WWE again. And also Mariah May jumping ship from Tony Khan's AEW. Mariah May goes to WWE, and there's also a lot of injuries in AEW. And anybody worrying about where not Orange Cassidy, the other guy, whatever, he's climbing Mount Everest right now. Won't be back.
A lot of injuries on AEW. I'm so shocked, Rich.
Oh, Joe, there's the Rebel Rant, Robbie Rebel. Thomas, let me bring you in as well. And here we go. We are going to tackle the main wrestling card of the year, WrestleMania weekend. Tom, first, let's take a look. Let's put up some of these images of WrestleMania. WrestleMania, of course, I went to the first one. Here we go this weekend in Las Vegas, Sin City. A whole week of events taking place. It continues tomorrow night, the Hall of Fame induction. That's going to be a good one. And then you're going to either have NXT there and Monday Night Raw Monday. It's going to continue till Monday. And, you know, I've been a part of WrestleMania. I once worked for this group and also attended some. And look at that. Now, that's an old joke about that. I'm not going to get into that. That was a mistake by me. But, yeah, I was welcome to WrestleMania 9 in Vegas. Hulk Hogan, Brutus the Barber, Beefcake. And you remember great late Yokozuna. That was a part of my history of wrestling right there with WrestleMania. It is a major, major event on the wrestling calendar, and it's a huge one. I mean, we've seen some great events and unexpected developments, and maybe this hype for this WrestleMania hasn't been as great, but the matches are there because it's a two-night spectacle now, which I don't enjoy. But, guys, what we're going to do, is run down the card match by match and give brief opinions, what you think the outcomes would be. Robbie, then you're going to rant a little bit after that and then talk about two of your upcoming matches and something else. But let's go through the Mania card at first. First, let me go through night one, and then we'll throw some images up as I go along with some of the guys as we talk about. First night one, Jay Cardo and Naomi, and I think this comes down to Cardo is still going to go after Bianca after this. What do you think?
I think so. I just don't know how they play into it because I don't know if they wait until what happens with the result with Bianca in her triple threat match. So I would assume that that's the way to go, and I think the way to go is to probably turn Bianca heel because she's kind of acting a little heelish right now. But I honestly I don't think Triple H knows what to do quite yet. If I'm being totally honest,
I know though is I think Naomi's going to win this one. What about you, Robbie?
I definitely agree with it. Jade's not, even though she's a spectacle to look at. She is like the definition of what you would want a professional wrestler in any type of professional wrestling to look at. However, her in-ring work can be questionable. I don't think she's fully ready for it, but I do think Naomi is going to go forward. And also, I would definitely say that wait until Monday to see if anything does happen with Naomi.
The post-WrestleMania Raw the following Monday is always a watch. You have to watch it on Netflix.
Something out of the box.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Night one, Rey Mysterio against this guy. We all know it's Chad Gable under the mask. El Grande Americana. And I think Mysterio's going to get his revenge, and we're going to finally know that that's Chad Gable under the mask.
I think Mysterio is gonna get the after effect, like they're gonna pull like maybe a Dusty Finish type deal with it, because there's no way that the Chad Gable thing is he's got to go over, and then when something happens, he finally gets the mask off, and then we have the whole we all knew it was the whole time. It would be such a great WrestleMania moment, win or lose. That if he reveals the face. Definitely something to do.
Robbie, have you ever thought about putting a mask on your face?
I used to use face paint. I thought
you did?
Second. I called myself Prince Robbie Rebel. You want to know what that got me? A cease and desist letter.
Oh my God.
Okay, Tom, briefly, your pick, Mysterio or El Grande Americana?
I think the gimmick is great for Chad Gable. I think Mysterio does the job for him.
If they ran this too long, it's stupid. I think it's got to end. It's stupid.
I think it's funny if they do it the right way. I think it's funny. I think Mysterio does the job for him in a great match, but I don't think he reveals himself just yet.
All right, night one continues. The U.S. title. Knight against Jacob Fatu, the monster Fatu. Fatu wins. What do you think, guys?
What I would want LA Knight going over. But I think Jacob is going to go over just because that whole family has got they're winning the arm wrestling competition right there.
You realize we're talking about scripted matches, and
it's like over the top,
and there could be swerves. And what we're talking about makes no sense at all. But the wrestling fans love this stuff, and I know. What do you think, real quick? Who do you like, Tom?
I think Fatu goes over because that's what the crowd wants. I think he's very over right now.
And so is Sakota. So is Sakota. Takes exception that he wins his title, and then they get into a feud. Fatu and Sakota. That's what I see.
Yeah.
All right. Tag title, War Raiders against the New Day, who turned heel, and the New Day have been really good as a heel tag team, and I see them winning the gold. What do you think, guys?
I concur.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been refreshed, which is a great thing for them.
Tom?
Yeah, I totally agree. I like the new gimmick that they're doing, and them being heels. I think that's going to be a really good match too, because I think all four of them guys can work pretty good, and I think they mesh pretty good as well. So that might be a sleeper match of the night one.
All right, the women's title up for grabs, and they drag this. And Charlotte Flair is going to become a champion again against Tiffany Stratton, who I can't stand. And I expect Becky Lynch to return That's what I think. A lot of talk. I think she's going to return. And Flair wins this title, and then it's Lynch and Flair going into a feud. Your thoughts, guys?
I did see something that Becky wrote down, and she said that she wasn't going to be at WrestleMania at all. So more than likely, she is going to show up.
Well, in wrestling, when they say that, usually means they're going to show up.
Yeah,
you can't expect them to tell the truth.
And you know that. Robbie, when they say you're not going to show up, you always show up.
I always show up because I got nothing better to do, brother.
Tom, your thoughts on that match?
I think she needs to show up because I'm not a fan of either in ring, out the ring. I just they don't do anything for me in a match. I think this is the
they just dragged this for months, and it's finally going to end on Saturday night 1. Peacock, 7 hours of WWE Peacock, Saturday and Sunday. 7 hours of pro wrestling, 14 hours in 2 nights. I can't sit down for an hour.
Well, you could take a break during the Charlotte Flair match. And
I think I will. Yeah. The world title. Now, put this guy's image up, Gunther.
I think this is where they're going to
against Jey Uso. I think, the reign is over. He's going to lose his title. It's Jey Uso's time. They've really built this one up. It's been pretty good the way they built this up. And I do believe that Gunther drops the title, which means he goes on to challenging for something bigger. And finally, Jey Uso deserves a title. I mean, he's been beaten up week after week, and now he's a new Jey Uso. He says he doesn't care. And he's indifferent, and he's got vengeance on his mind for his family. Jey Uso wins the title. Gunther gets the throne. Your thoughts, guys?
The most recent actual promo with those two in the ring was insanely serious. I loved every moment of that.
Yes, I agree.
Just that one promo changed my mind on Jey Uso personally. But I would have said Jey just because Gunther deserves to start playing with the bigger boys.
I'm actually going to go against you guys. I think Gunther goes over. I think it's too obvious to let Jey win. I mean, I know Jey is extremely over. He's probably the top seller right now in merchandise. I think he's number 1 in WWE. If not number 2.
That's to Cody Rhodes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he's like 1 or 2. But I just think, I know he's lost like 2 or 3 times in a row clean to Gunther. I think this time he does the job, but Gunther cheats to win this time. So instead of they build it up as he almost beat him.
Yeah, but brother Jimmy's going to get involved in this too.
Yeah, and he
could
do something to cost him the match by mistake.
Yeah,
I just think it's too obvious to let Jey win. It's the opening match of WrestleMania 2, from what I'm hearing, the first match. I just think it's too obvious to let Jey win. So I'm going to take Gunther. I think Gunther wins this match.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm giving the right rundown of how it's going, but I'm giving all the matches at least. But this I know is main eventing for the first time. CM Punk in the main event, and this has been building up, and this has been a great feud. How the 3 of them, including Paul Heyman, we're talking Rollins, Punk, and Reigns, and this is the thing. Seth Rollins says Paulie there's a promise, and that promise to me is this: that Paulie is going to turn. Reigns has turned on Paul, and now Punk, I think, is in between all this. I think Rollins is going to win this, and Heyman's going to help him win. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, that's this one's been very hard for me to read.
This is
I feel there's 3 great competitors, and the storyline or whatever that they're trying to do is just they have an idea. It feels like the last 3 movies from Star Wars. There's an idea that starts, but it doesn't really follow through, and then just keeps doing that. That's the way I've been feeling with it.
But Tom, do you think Rollins is going to side with Heyman and end up with him?
See, I think that's the obvious thing to do, and I think it would be a good swerve. But I do think Rollins needs to win this, and I think they let Rollins win. The last couple WrestleManias, Rollins has lost. right? So and then he did the job for Cody Rhodes when Cody Rhodes came back at WrestleMania.
That's
So
true.
I think this is the time for Rollins already lost to Punk already, and Punk has been on a good winning streak. I don't think Punk is taking a clean loss. I don't think
No.
yet since being there.
It's
So
very
I think
intriguing,
yeah,
but this storyline has been very intriguing week after week as it unfolded. And then
yeah.
Rollins gets into this picture with the promise with Heyman. So that's why there's a lot of interest in this match that will close out night number one. It could be swerves, swerve.
Yeah.
That's always a word. Swerve, swerve.
But
Swerve Strickland, AEW.
I think they owe Rollins this one. I think Rollins gets the win here.
Yeah,
He's
I
definitely
think,
he's one of my favorites in WWE. Let's go to night two briefly, and we have AJ Styles and Logan Paul. Now, anybody with that name, Logan or Jake Paul, I don't want them to win. First of all, all right. Styles Paul, and I don't AJ backed, and AJ already in the WrestleMania night two. Logan Paul is their star, so he doesn't lose this. What do you think, guys?
I think Paul wins. I think we're going to get a great
Paul's
match.
gonna win too.
I think Styles is there to make Paul look good because that's what Styles does.
Now,
Styles,
Robbie, Tom, sorry to cut you off. Robbie, as a pro wrestler yourself, and you could rant about this briefly with the Rebel Rant, as you do here on the program every week. Are you impressed how Logan Paul has developed into this great pro wrestler? He's got all the moves, and he's great on the mic. I'm very impressed with him. What do you think?
One night where I was trying not to get mad, Rich. I think he's fantastic, and I hate it. I hate it. The man is athletically gifted, has a great look, and knows how to market himself, him and his brother, and I can't stand it because I don't like the type of person he was when he originally got famous. I hate it.
Okay.
But he's good.
He is.
Damn it.
He is.
Yeah,
No,
he's pretty good
I
on
think
mic,
he's
too.
good. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Tom, your thoughts on that match?
I think it's going to be a great match. I think he's a good worker. I mean, ever since he put a great match, I think he made Roman Reigns look good when he fought Roman Reigns. In my opinion, I thought that was just a phenomenal job. He did that, and he got injured in that match and kind of worked his way through it. I think Paul wins. And like I said, Styles is there to make him look good, to put him over, and it might be the best match of the night as far as like in-ring work. So,
Could be. The Sin City match, street fight with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, that developed fast. Find that Damian Priest was at Yankee Stadium the last two nights. I couldn't track him down. A big Yankee fan in New York. And McIntyre, of course, wants to get what he deserves, and I think he's going to beat Priest. My prediction is Drew McIntyre in this type of street fight wins over Damian Priest. Briefly, your thoughts, guys.
I'd have to disagree. I think Priest is going to go over because McIntyre, every time I see him in something big, he's always putting the guy over, and I think they're keeping him in that same spot.
Robbie, have you ever been in a street fight before in the ring?
Yeah.
How'd you come out of
I
that?
actually have a picture of it.
Oh, show it to us when you get. I'd like to see that one day. How about you? What do you think of this, Tom? Real brief.
I kind of agree with you. I think McIntyre goes over in this match. It's very hard to tell. But I think it's kind of like the scenario with Rollins, right? I think McIntyre has been kind of doing the quote unquote job of late, and I think he finally gets a win. So
Pro wrestling fans, jump in with your opinions and comment here at Keep It in the Ring. We're talking WrestleMania right now. The IC title, first time a four-way, meaning four guys, breaking the champ, Rey Mysterio, Dirty Dom, right? Rey, Penta, and Finn Balor. So two of the Judgment Day guys are in there. You know what I think is going to happen here? I think for some reason, Dirty Dom's going to win this title, and Baylor's going to get upset, and they break up. That's what I think. And Breaker is going to lose the title and move on to bigger things, like shoot for a bigger title, like the world title. Your thoughts, guys? Do you think Dirty Dom wins it? And do you think Dirty Dom and Finn Balor break up and the Judgment Day starts to disband?
I think that hits the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom might say that this is an obvious play, but this is a play that needs to happen.
Yes. And that's exactly what I was going to say.
But also, I don't think Dom's ever has Dom held a singles title before.
No.
No.
NXT,
Oh no, he did with his dad. They had the tag team titles with his dad.
Not a singles title.
No, not a singles.
He won.
He's
won a
been
singles
working
title.
real hard and deserves this.
NXT title. Did he win an NXT title? He won an NXT title.
He had that as well. But this would be huge for him. Huge.
It's a bigger deal.
I think
it has to happen, like you said. I think it's the obvious play. It has to happen. They kind of got to break up and get rid of this Judgment Day. Let Mysterio have his little run. The fans are he's over with the fans as a heel, so over that he's actually getting more cheers now.
Yes, he is.
I've noticed that. So I think it's like they love to boo him now. So
I think this will end his heel and becomes a fan favorite again. And in the end, post WrestleMania, him and his dad make peace. They had thought about putting the two of them together here versus here at this WrestleMania. That's not happening. But I believe Dirty Dom wins the women's title tag team championship. Liv Morgan, who I can't stand. Raquel against Bayley and Valkyria. Liv Morgan always seems to find a way to win, and they'll defend. What do you think?
She just got to hike up them shorts, and then she wins. If you have not seen all these damn pictures.
How about you, Tom?
You know, if I was
baby.
if I was booking this match, and I think they could do this, I could see it happen. Not sure they will. I think you get a turn here. I think you get a Bayley heel turn here, and I think Bayley starts the feud with
she's gonna feud with her. That you could see that coming. And she will turn heel again. Yeah.
Didn't Bayley just have like a promo with some girl and I saw the promo. I forgot who it was, but I remember a little bit of it, and like that does seem like heel turn-ish.
Yeah. I don't like Bayley either way. I can't stand her.
I love Bayley. I think she's great. I like Bayley.
I can't stand her. To me, she's a total fake. A fake.
You know what?
What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Keep it in the ring. Wrestling is fake.
It's not fake, Rich. You know this. It's fixed, not fake.
It's scripted. It's scripted.
Yeah.
What did you just do there, Robbie? What did you just get up and show what? Oh yeah, I have some WrestleMania stuff as well. You know, I got a WrestleMania collection. It's unbelievable. It's just sitting here. If somebody interested in it, I need someone to let me know. The women's title is a triple threat: Io Sky, Ripley, and Bianca Belair. Now, I look at this. Ripley's not getting the title back, at least not now. Neither is Belair. I believe Io Sky will defend this. Whether there's outside interference, I don't know. But Io Sky defends and keeps that title. Your thoughts, guys?
I think that's, because if it was Bianca and Ripley one-on-one, I think it would have more of a payoff. So to keep something going, it should be Io Sky. But I personally am not and a lot of people don't like this. I don't see the hype behind her. That's my personal thing, though. I don't see the hype.
Behind who?
No, Io Sky.
Io Sky. What about you, Tom? Do you like Io Sky? Does she defend? Did she keep it?
I love Io Sky. That's crazy. You guys don't like the women that I like. I like
I like all three, but I know. I love Rhea Ripley. She's my gal.
Yeah.
But Nia Jax isn't on this card. My favorite female wrestler is not at WrestleMania, Nia Jax, unless they do a prelim type of thing. But she's not there. But I think she's going to show up here. She's going to have some type of role in either of these female matches. She can't be kept quiet, my gal, Nia Jax. Nope. All right, we come to this finale. The build-up for this has been incredible. The Rock, he hasn't been seen since what was it? The last pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber that got us here, where John Cena shocked the world and became a heel. I think The Rock will finally show up with that rapper. What's his name? Storm. What's his name?
I don't even know who that guy was. I forget.
Who's that rapper? I'm not into those guys, but he's a part of this.
Looks like I listen to rap, man.
Yeah. No. Well, anyway, Tom, put it up. We finally get Cody Rhodes and John Cena, and John Cena the heel, who I believe, and many pick him to dethrone Cody Rhodes and becomes the world champ, becomes a WWE champion. The build up for here, the promos have been incredible. No Rock, but again, he'll show up. And I do believe that Cody Rhodes drops the title only because Cena will get number 17 and then eventually becomes the good guy again. He's not going to retire as a heel. We know that. I see Cena winning the title. Your thoughts, guys?
This is a tough one.
It's very tough because...
How tough it is to predict the script?
Okay, so... Here's my thing, is that John Cena has a love for wrestling. He really does. He has a love for the business. And he understands why people like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Savage, yada, 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 have come before him and made something bigger out of this. Whether he wants to step up to be that guy that has held it that many times, I feel like he has a huge say in that. So... whether Triple H wants him or not, I could still see him saying, no, this might not be the time, and let's keep it on Cody and give Cody another WrestleMania moment, because how much more can we get from John Cena anyway?
Well, you're going to maybe get 17 title. It'll break Ric Flair's record, but he's got to retire as a good guy. And I think with him the title on, he'll finally realize I got to be a good guy.
Tell a good enough story in that match, you could turn Cena babyface in the middle of that match, and they both have that ability to do that.
Well, that's possible. And you know what? Maybe you should be one of the creative writers at WWE, because that was a good one, Robbie.
Those two have the ability to do that. And you could see the fight. The second John Cena looks at Cody, and he's like, maybe I am too old for this. And
so, Tom, what is your take on the final match of WrestleMania weekend night 2? Is it Cena or is it Rhodes?
I think it's tough to call. I don't think they even know who's going to go over. I think they're still trying to figure out what's going to happen. I do like the fact that maybe turn Cena face in this match, and maybe see, this is what I think could happen. I think Cody wins, but it, like, you see like the turn, like Rebel was saying, and Cena turning face, and then you see a little bit of Cody with turning a little bit of heel. They might do like a double swerve to the end where Cody goes over, and then the crowd is like booing him, and then they build it up, and then they'll do some type of rematch where Cena does go over, but he'll be the face going into.
Well,
I think Cody's going to turn heel.
It's going to be a long 2 nights, Saturday and Sunday, for WrestleMania. I think it's number 41 this year in Vegas, and I'll be tuned in. I always do. I haven't missed any of them. I never will. I worked like 3 or 4 of them. Guys, great job doing the predictions. Now, Rebel, you're still going to do a brief rant. You're going to do that, but you got, first of all, two big cards coming up in the next month, don't you? Let's put those up too. We have the posters of the cards. What's this one?
Oh, that one is right in Port Jeff, Long Island. I will be defending my ECPW Long Island Championship match against Splendid Bobby C, which I have held for almost 1,000 days.
Okay. Wow. Congratulations. I didn't know you had that in you. And the other one is the one I think at the Elks Lodge, and I think this is the one I'm going to come finally walk you in the ring with.
That's W May 10th, Queensborough's Elks Lodge. I will be facing this man named Rage, who I have known since he started wrestling.
Okay. All right. So we'll look forward to that. And the fulfilling your dream of Rich Mancuso walking Robbie Rebel into the ring. Now, what is this? Start your rant. I know you have something to say about this. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm not going to do the typical pissed off rant because we're in WrestleMania mode, so I'm going to keep a nice smile right now. But this is a picture of me in Atlanta, Georgia, about to give the boots or the knee or the elbow to John Gresham. If you guys watch wrestling, you should know who John Gresham is. You know? Tom,
No, I don't know. No, I don't know.
John Gresham was Impact Champion.
That's right. Okay. Wow.
I trained with this man.
Wow.
Look how small he was. That's Jordan Grace's husband.
Oh, okay. Now I know. All right. So what's your rant about? What is your what briefly? We're going over tonight, folks. We have a lot more. We have some more show to do. What is your rant about this? What's the purpose of this?
The purpose about this is getting proper training. So things like when you were just talking about in the AEW, people getting injured. It's because they're not doing the right thing. They're not learning how to wrestle. I just went on my Facebook post about Mr. Hughes saying that he's got an open ring. If you guys want to go down to open ring, go get it done. People who are actual wrestlers and actually watch this, because I know a couple of them do. They have been watching because I asked them to go down and make sure that you're getting properly done. He teaches you how to wrestle.
Okay. That's the rant, right?
We're going over time. I'm tired.
All right, but you're not going to let you go now. But first, Tom, come back in. We're going to wrap up the pro wrestling segment. I know we have a lot. We're going over because we got to do Fact of the Week. We have to do that. All right, put it up, Tom. It's Fact of the Week. Here we go, guys. It's a WrestleMania Fact of the Week. It's not trivia. 1 hour, 1 minute, 56 seconds was the longest match in WrestleMania history. 1 hour, 1 minute, 56 seconds. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania number 12. Okay? What was the result? The fact. The longest match in WrestleMania history.
Oh,
1 hour, 56 seconds.
You go. I know the answer.
Shawn Michaels won.
Shawn Michaels and Bret the
limit.
Hitman Hart. It was a big feud with the two of them leading up to this.
It was a draw.
No.
A what?
It was a draw at first.
Wasn't it?
Then they called him back to the ring, and then Shawn Michaels won 2-1. I think it was 1-1.
And then he cried.
Yeah.
Michaels won by pinfall. That's why, exactly. Very good, guys. History, WrestleMania number 12. Shawn Michaels, Bret the Hitman Hart. 1 hour, 1 minute, 56 seconds, and that closes up the Fact of the Week this week with WrestleMania.
Finally, I got a Fact of the Week right. That's great.
I know, because it's WrestleMania. That's why. It was scripted, because it was scripted. That's why. All right, Rebel, you did it. Good job. Keep it in the ring. Go to bed. All right? That's Robbie Rebel with the Rebel Rant. Where did they reach you real quick? Where did they get you?
You get me on Instagram at The Real Robbie Rebel, and you could also get me on Facebook at Robbie Rebel. You will see me with the man with the top hat. He'll be, hey, yeah, glad to add you
there
back.
you go.
I just completely butchered that.
Yes, you did.
That guy right there with the top hat.
Yeah, where it says Robbie Rebel. I don't know if you spell it with a Y or not, but there you go.
Whatever. We'll talk to you more next week, Rebel. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
The Rebel Rant. All right, Tom, we're going to take a final timeout. I come back. We got some nostalgia, a couple other odds and ends to clean up. Let's keep it in the ring. I'm Rich Mancuso, live on my YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also at String Punk Entertainment. Like the Facebook Keep It in the Ring page. Back in a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Petwell Clinic was built with busy pet parents like you in mind, providing walk-in preventative vet care, treatment for minor ailments, and chronic condition management. You remain with your pet throughout their visit, and all charges are clearly explained, so there are no surprises at checkout. Just walk in to our Paramus, Greenbrook, or Union locations, or visit us at petwellclinic.com for more information.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Well, we're really going over the hour this week because we had a lot of wrestling to talk over with WrestleMania. And I hope you enjoyed that segment as much as I did. Hope you enjoy this every week as much as I do. Back in time, nostalgia once again, April 17, 1967. Nito Benvenuti, Paisan. He beat Emil Griffith, the Hall of Fame, the late great Hall of Fame, a unanimous decision win for the WBA and WBC middleweight titles back in Madison Square Garden. The first of three meetings between these two. Griffith knocked down in round two. Benvenuti hit the canvas in the fourth. Emil Griffith won the rematch in September of 1987 before Benvenuti won the rubber match in March of 1968. This was a trilogy in boxing. Boxing trilogies are always great to see. Here is one of them. Benvenuti and the late great Hall of Famer Emil Griffith. That's nostalgia for this week. More next week. All right, let's take a look at this brief. In Atlantic City this past weekend, I caught up with an old friend, former Golden Glove champion, who had a lot of controversy in his career, including his fight with the late Billy Collins at Madison Square Garden, where Resto defaced Collins with it was plaster underneath his gloves. He did 2 years of time in New York State. He was indicted for potential manslaughter charges. Now, Collins, if you know the story, it's documented on YouTube and everywhere else. Showtime did a mock documentary on it. Resto, to this day, and he told me again over the weekend in Atlantic City, where he now lives, that he did not know. I refute that. I think he did know, but he was told not to say anything. He was a young man at the time. And of course, the whole story here, Panama Lewis, the trainer, the culprit who did all this, the crookiest of crooks in the business in a corner. And Resto took the fall for it. But anyway, Resto has done great things for young people in the sport. He trains them, and he met up with this group of youngsters from the Boys and Girls Club in Atlantic City that were a part of the Ennis Stenana's promotion and Matchroom Boxing over the weekend on the boardwalk. Youth in Boxing, they met Louis Resto, and they got some insights from him. And it was great to see Louis Resto once again down in Atlantic City by the boardwalk. He's doing well. He's doing well. From the Bronx, I've known him an awful long time. Part of Fight Week, and that was one of them right there at Boardwalk Call. Now, I want to give condolences to a friend here and a colleague who also carries our program on the AGT network, Carl Roberts. Our thoughts and prayers are with you on the passing of his mom, and we wish you well and hope to talk to you soon. From all of us here at Keep It in the Ring on my channel, Rich Mancuso at YouTube. Speaking of that, long hour went ahead. Tommy D, let me bring you in. Any final thoughts?
No, we had some, good fights this past weekend. My guy Keith Colon had a late notice fight this past weekend as well. It was good to see him back in the ring. Hopefully we'll get him back on the program soon. Yeah, man, just ready for WrestleMania. This weekend, see what happens, what storylines are going to play out, and look forward to that. I mean, no big fights this weekend. We got big fights the following week, so.
Right. We look forward to coming up May 2nd, Times Square, New York City, for that big triple header. Again, invite only, 350 fans. Enjoy the fights this weekend that are around, my friends. And also, most of all, it is a holiday weekend. It's a holiday week. And I want to wish all my friends of Jewish faith a very happy, blessed Passover. And to all you who observe, a happy Easter and blessed Sunday to you all. My thanks to you, Tom, as always. Great job as always. Don't forget, fans, log on to my YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe to Rich Mancuso at Keep It in the Ring, as well as String Punk Entertainment, and like the Facebook page. Thomas, where does everyone get you?
You guys can find me here on YouTube as well. Just put my name, Thomas Dillamuth, in the search engine. It's TD Sports Talk. And you can also catch me on Sundays on the Sports Byline USA Network with Pedro Fernandez at Ring Talk Worldwide.
Always look forward to that, Tommy D. Thank you very much. And to all of you, as always, for watching. I'll be back with you again next week, live 8 p.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, for Keep It in the Ring. Again, great holiday weekend to you all. Stay happy. Stay good to each other. Be well, and most of all, God bless. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's Tommy D. And as always, what do we say, Tom?
Keep it in the ring.
Keep it in the ring. Till next week, fans. Thank you.
Good night.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.